Hi everyone, welcome to the second APAC session on edu-on-air for higher education. Today's session is designed to focus on accelerating research with Google AI tools like NotebookLM and Deep Research, and it is designed for faculty and students and research scholars. I am Isha Porwal Jain. I'm Digital Transformation Lead in the Google for Education team. And throughout my career of a decade, I've worked very closely with higher education institutes, K-12s, and government on the adoption and deployment of multiple emerging technologies. With two different teams in Google, it's been 5.5 years. And my role comes when I would want to support the customers to map the solutions to their institution goals and policies to achieve digital transformation. With me today, I have Dr. Mamta Arora, who's the Associate Professor at Manav Rashna Universities, and she is also an amazing Google certified trainer. She is going to join us shortly to give a lens from an academia perspective as well. Today, there are a lot of things that we are going to cover. There are a number of items that we are going to cover, starting from understanding Google's responsible AI principles and safety and security and our Learn LM model, to talking about how you can enhance your research with Google AI tools like Deep Research, NotebookLM, and Gemini in Workspace, which will be followed by case studies that we are going to have a quick look at. And then, of course, we just don't want to talk about AI tools. We also want to give you a lens on how the academic integrity needs to be taken care of when you're using these Google AI tools. And don't forget, there's a chat functionality where you can actually put all of your questions, that you would like us to answer them. We'll try to attempt those at the end of the session. And, we also have people on the phone who will try to answer these questions live as well. Don't forget that these recordings are available to you on demand as well, so you can always come and rewatch. With that, we'll quickly kick off to our part. Google, using AI isn't new to Google, right? We have been using AI into our Google search, Google, Maps, YouTube, and it's been like early 2003 that we have been doing this. We actually released our first AI model back in 2015. But for us, the goal isn't to be the first, it's to be right? We believe in bold and responsible AI principles. And unlike the general purpose models, our AI tools are built on Learn LM. And this is a specialized model grounded in the learning science. Now, before any tool reaches you, it is rigorously tested by the pedagogical experts around the world. And it is designed to address the unique needs of teaching and learning. Now, moving on. This is a question that I frequently get asked by a lot of faculty members. But I would want you to think about the last time you logged into a new AI tool. Did you hesitate about sharing your data? Now, faculties are really concerned, students are concerned, they would not want to share their data, but usually they are not taking a step back when the decision is there, right? So let's be clear, when you're using Gemini or NotebookLM, with your official EDU accounts, your data remains your data. Now, this is very crucial, and maybe try to take as many notes as possible in this session as well, and try to do hands-on as well wherever possible. One of the things I would request you that go to your gemini.com, gemini.google.com or notebooklm.google.com and use your official IDs only, because when you're using your EDU accounts, we are not using your data to train our models. We are not sharing that data with any other users in any other organization, and customers actually have the control of their entire data. One of the another important things is that when we compare it from a security and compliance validation, our privacy practices are audited against the international standards as well. So next time you have to consider this. It's not necessary for you to use a lot of tools, but it's also important as you're setting up this ecosystem, as you're establishing your routine working with AI models, it's important that you're using your data privately and securely. We'll move ahead next. Now, let's take a look at the standard research life cycle. What's the process that usually happens? It starts with ideation and hypothesis generation, right? This is where you would want to understand where the research gaps are, what is that unique proposition that you want to build into that research, right? That's the first step. The next step is, of course, writing the literature review, where you pull the mountains of data that you've collected. And this actually is a process that takes months of time period. You would pull in all of that information and churn it into meaningful insights. So that's literature review. The next step is basically data collection management and analysis, which means that you would want to collect, the surveys of the ground realities and compare it with some of the standard data sets that might be available with you, and you would want to compare and finally draw analysis out of it to add value to your own research. The final two stages talks about drafting the research and meticulously verifying all the citations and everything that you have put or not. So that's how the general research life cycle looks like. Now what we can do is straight away get into the demo to see how all of these things looks into action. The first thing that we are going to use today is deep research. Now, when you go to gemini.google.com, there is a feature called as deep research, for those who might not have used it already, that helps you to generate in-depth reports in minutes, right? So I'll quickly, switch my screen and take you to another tab where we'll quickly see how these things look in action. All right. So we are on gemini.google.com, and here you will see multiple tools that are available for you. But for now, we are going to talk about deep research. When you go to deep research, let's say there is a prompt that you would want to put, right? And this is basically the prompt which is what you would want to do the research on. Allow me a minute, and I will just paste this for you all here. Let's say we are talking about, what has been the adoption rate in institution versus faculty preparedness in India or otherwise in any country. And we would want to suggest 10 new angles and interdisciplinary connections for the research as well, right? So you can simply go and start the research with the simple deep research tool that we have here. It will give you an ability to edit your first plan as well. Now, this is very crucial. If you want, you can simply go and edit your plan, or you can start the research here itself as well. So let's say, for example, we clicked on start research, and just for the demo purposes, I had already created this demo for you. And you will see that once I clicked on start research, it will take a minute of its time and it will pull out a report for me. Now, in this report, you will see that there are multiple, citations as well as the sources information as well, which are mentioned at the end. Now, this is very crucial. Usually, I've seen this taking a lot of amount of, time for the students as well as for the faculty members. So this becomes your rescue. You may also, get some sources from Google Scholar, and other different sources, and put all of those information at one place as well, right? So this is how deep research works. Once you have got all this information, there are multiple things that you can do. One is, of course, you can create an audio overview. This itself looks like a very lengthy report, right? And you would want to, maybe you're on the go and you would want to hear out this entire thing as well, right? So you can use the audio overview feature. If you want, you can actually simply create a web page or an infographics out of it and discuss, about it with your peers, as well as for your own engagement and, understanding this report well. Everyone has different forms of understanding, and you can create a web page report here as well. Multiple options are available. If I were to show you a quick one, for the purpose of demonstration, I had already created one of these. So once the research was done, I simply asked it to create a website. I asked it make the web page interactive, engaging with Google Colors. If you want, of course, you can use your own brand colors as well. And this is just for my engagement and interactivity that I asked, Gemini to do this for me. It has given me the entire report that we saw earlier. This is now converted into a web page. It's giving me adoption rates. It's giving me faculty readiness, a lot of things that I had asked for. And it is actually in a very engaging way. So currently, if you see, this is the current state. And if I go on the target state, it is also giving me a target state. And for each of the policy framework, it's defining me what are the sections, what are the different policies, what does the current on ground situation looks like, right? So this is giving me the entire picture here. Of course, I can use this, or I can simply use the one that was generated through the help of reports. And even in that report, if you see this option, I actually am getting an option that I can export it to Google Docs, right? So native integration is going to be one of the plus points that we'll see in this entire research lifecycle. Or if I want, I can simply copy the content from here as well. Now, if you take a look at here, let's say maybe I just clicked on export to docs, it will export it to the documents, and this is how it will look like. So let's say this is how the report looks like. Of course, this is full of plagiarism, and of course there are a lot of content from the different sources. But what I'll do is that basis the audio overview, basis all of this information that I've received, I will try to voice my individual understanding about the topic. I can continue to write it here. I also have helped me write in with the help of Gemini in Google Docs, that can help me to polish and rephrase as well. So while you're on the go, you continue to do these things by yourself. The next tool that we are going to focus right now, we have not done literature review. Okay, right now we are only doing the first process, which is ideation and hypothesis generation. Now, to take it to literature review, I will do one additional step, which is like a real beneficial. We'll go to notebooklm.google.com, which is the next tool that I'm going to talk about today. I'll quickly switch my screen and we'll come to this page. So again, use notebooklm.google.com using your official edu accounts. When you go here, this is how it will look like. If you want, you can simply create a new notebook. When you go to a new notebook, one of the best things about NotebookLM is that whatever sources you will feed in, it will only give you the information from that sources, which means that it works on the concept of grounding, and you will see zero hallucinations here. Now, that's really a lifesaver. And this is one of our best, LLMs, specifically from a high rate context as well. So there are multiple sources that you can put the information here. You can either upload your own files, which are there on your computer. You can either upload any videos that you found interesting, which is talking about your research, or a particular website which you feel is really useful. Or you can even take content from your drive. It can be your MP4 files, it can be your slide decks, it can be your sheets, it can be your docs. All of these information from your drive can be taken from here, or you can simply take a copied text and paste it here. So this is how usual framework or a layout of NotebookLM will look like. Now, for the demo purposes, I've quickly created one NotebookLM for you, where what I've done is the document that we saw earlier, I've put that document here, and along with that, I've put some research papers that I've got from Scholar, Google Scholar. I got it from my existing research that I might have done in the past. I've got some websites which I feel are relevant. I've also taken some internal decks that I had, which I thought would be relevant or to add value to my research. I've also taken some websites. And of course, there is a YouTube video as well. All of these taken and churned. Now, what I'll do is that I'll ask targeted questions here. However I want my research to, go on. There are individual ideas and thoughts that I have. I'll continuously ask these questions in the chat window here. If you see, I've already done a long chat with this thing here. So simply you can, ask the right questions. Now, if you take a look here, compare the statistics on student usage versus faculty usage across these reports. Identify the top 3 policy risk mentioned. Like this is one of the things that I had in my mind. And you will see that, NotebookLM is pulling all of these information, and it is also giving me citations from where the information is pulled. Now, this is a very crucial step. Whatever you put in NotebookLM, make sure you have already spent good amount of time during the deep research process, and you pull in the information only where you feel you have verified it, and there are if there are any biases, you've already removed all of those things, and then you put that information into the NotebookLM. Now from here, there are multiple options that are available for me in the studio, which is available in the NotebookLM. Options like, if I actually, yeah, for the ease, I'll show you this way. If you take a look, there are multiple options available. My favorite one immediately that I can do next is mind map. Okay, what exactly happens with the mind map? It basically helps you to connect the different dots. So if you see here, I've already created the mind map for you. And in the mind map, you will see that there are a variety of options that are available for me. So it's talking about evolving education through technology and AI adoption. What are we talking about? What is the changing role of teacher? This is one of the important segments as a part of my research. I want to study these dots together, and I want to connect all of these dots together. I can use the mind map feature. This is an excellent feature. I wish that existed in our days when we used to do research as well. Of course, you can download any kind of research from here and use it as a part of your presentation later on. But this is an important tool that can be considered. Another thing that is good is how you would want to convert these sources into audio overview or video overview for your own self, or later on for sharing it with your peers as well. There's a language translation option that's also available. Now, if you go on the audio overview, you will see that there are multiple ways in which the audio can be created. It can be a deep dive, it can be a brief, it can be a critique, debate, and you can also choose your language. For someone who's new with NotebookLM, please know that there are 80 plus languages that you can use in NotebookLM. And people who are joining us from India, there are 13 different regional languages that you can use in NotebookLM as well. So you'll see, lots of languages are available for you. Malayu is there, Mandarin is there, then we have French, and lots of different languages. 80 plus languages are available. You can add the context of what your audio or video you want to appear like. Like, let's say I would want to focus on faculty, how are faculty preparing for change management. Focus on keeping the video or audio interactive and engaging, like depends if it's audio or a video, but you can give your instructions here and you can simply generate these texts for yourselves as well. So if you take a look, here is what I've created already. If you see, I've created one of these in Hindi language. I've created one of the audio overview. This is how it will look like. This one particularly is a video overview.
दुनिया तेजी से बदल रही है, तो हमारी शिक्षा का क्या? चलिए देखते हैं भविष्य की क्लास कैसी होगी.
I know this might sound interesting for the people who are understanding the language, but of course, this is something that gauges a lot of attention, and I would want you to try this out on your own as well. Another one can be in a French language that we have.
Quand on pense IA éducation, l'image qui vient en tête est souvent la même, n'est-ce pas? On imagine des étudiants en informatique. C'est tout simplement fascinant. Et la vague de surprises ne s'arrête pas là, loin.
So you see, it has created some infographics, some images, as well as, there is a podcast, that's happening. And one of the interesting thing is also, it can be there in multiple languages, like I said. So that's some of the things that you should definitely try on. Audio overview, video overview, mind map. And then if you want, you can even create slide deck. So that's another amazing option. You can create reports, quizzes, data table, and infographics and flashcard. Because we have time constraints, I'll not go into each one of these in detail, but I definitely recommend that you should try out these things on your own as well and see how at different stages of a research, all of these tools are helpful, right? Once this part is done, the idea is you're asking targeted questions, and once with the help of those targeted questions, you're creating your literature review, right? So you would have a very clear understanding that what does the current research exist and what do you want to research further on. Moving on, the next stage is understanding and identifying that, okay, this is the research I want to do. What are the ground realities? Maybe I would want to circulate a survey. So for circulating a survey, we have another great option that I would like to talk about, which is basically using Gemini in Google Forms. I'll show you the magic. I'm sure maybe not every one of you might have already tried doing this, Allow me a minute to switch my screen. So we simply go to forms.google.com, and this is how the tab appears. I know you all have been using forms from many years, but one of the great things here is when you click on a blank form, now it gives you an option, and Gemini is already integrated here, right? So when you go, maybe there's a question, draft 5 unbiased surveys questions for university students about their comfort level using AI for assignment versus their understanding for university's AI ethics policy. So maybe I'll simply go and ask it to create a form for me. Within actually seconds, the form is created. I'll go through, I'll verify these questions. Do I think these are good to go, or would I want it to be tried again? And then I can simply create a form. Once the form is created, you can obviously like edit these questions as well, and you would want to check with your people on the ground. You would want to circulate this form with your people on the ground and collect the survey responses. Once that part is done, the next and a very crucial part is actually data analysis and interpretation. Let's say you have some existing data sources that you might have taken from different, like one of the data sources people take is from Kaggle, which is also owned by Google, or otherwise there are lots of data sets which are publicly available. You would want to take those data sets and compare the results from your survey with those. For that, we are going to talk about Gemini in Google Sheets. So we have Gemini in Google Sheets as well. Let me just switch my tab to that. All right. So this is what my primary survey data looks like. Let's say there's a student, there's a region, there's a stream, AI usage frequency, and AI policy awareness is what I've taken the survey on. And then there is a benchmark data. So all of this is a benchmark data that I have. Now, of course, like I would go ahead and analyze the data on my own, or otherwise I'll use this Gemini in Sheets option, and with the help of this I can simply ask it to summarize the text. I can ask a particular query that I have in my mind, or I can simply ask it to analyze the data. Once it analyzes the data for me, that's where the magic appears. Sometimes you spend a lot of time in analyzing this data and you might miss onto some points as well. This is where tools like Gemini in Sheets come to your savior, and you will see that it will not only give me the tabular format of this analysis, but also will give me the written format of this. Now, why that is crucial? Imagine I have the summary of the analysis and I put that summary again into NotebookLM to deepen my understanding about a particular topic, right? So it's giving me AI usage frequency by a region. I can ask, pinpointing questions as well. I can ask about policy awareness levels at different streams, distribution of AI usage frequency, of course, and there are key takeaways as well. So imagine this part is also done. Now I basically have, a clear understanding. I've completed the survey. I've compared it with the data resources. Now I'll put this information back into NotebookLM, and from there I will start writing my final draft. Obviously, things like double checking option that we have in Gemini is crucial. Citations, which I've already shown in NotebookLM, again are very crucial. From here, I'll continue to put all of that information that I've gained from the Google Sheets. I'll put it here, and then I'll get the final outputs as well, right? So that's how you actually complete your research life cycle, your entire research life cycle. But verification, ethics, checking the citation, adding those sources, and making sure that you have your individual voice reflect becomes very crucial in this entire thing, right? I'll quickly come to this screen now. All right. So this is how you have seen that we have, completed the entire research life cycle. The tools that we have used here is Deep Research, NotebookLM. We have used Gemini in Google Forms. We have used Gemini in Docs, and sheets to finally come to our research draft. Obviously, you can convert the output into bit size information as well, which you can further share with your peers for review, let's say in the form of audio or video podcast. We'll quickly move ahead. This part is already done. Now, with that, let me give you a quick case study as well. Institutions all across the world are actually using, Google AI tools for accelerating their research. One of the examples that we can see here is from the University of Oxford. One of the beautiful things is how they're converting the handwritten lab notes also and turning the information into Notebook LM and Gemini for that matter. There is a long context window and multimodality feature that is available in Gemini and Notebook LM, which is very well used in the University of Oxford. Another great example is also from Komazawa University. One of the things that people ask us is that, sometimes even the research guidelines are so complex. How do people understand and make most out of this? For something like this, they have created a chatbot and FAQ pages with powered by Gemini and Notebook LM, and there is a 65% reduction in overall time that has been achieved, and there is also 80% more improvement in the quality of work. So these are some of the case studies that we have seen. I'm sure today you are also going to try some of these things on your own and share with us your feedback on how these tools looked for your own research purposes as well. Moving on, one of the questions that everybody asks me, and that's where we bridge the gap between technology and keeping the human in the loop. So where does usage of AI sit within the boundaries of academic integrity? A question that is commonly asked. People do not have the exact answers, but I would want to definitely start this discussion. And for this, I would like to invite Dr. Mamta from Manav Rashna University to share her insights on how she has been leveraging some of these tools for her own research purposes, and share with all of you that what is the bridge, or what are some of the things that one should take care in mind when they are doing research with AI tools. Dr. Mamta, over to you.
Thank you so much, Isha, for this question. So today I'm going to address the question that many educators and the researchers are grappling with. Where does AI fit within academic integrity? So AI is not just a tool anymore. It is shaping how we think, write, and research. The real challenge is not at all in the adoption, but responsible adoption. So the honest answer to this question, it depends on how you use it, not that you use it. So we need to understand the paradigm shift. Earlier, the usage of tools lead to the unfair advantage. But now, misuse of tool is basically an ethical concern. Now, I just wanted to state with taking a simple example. Using a calculator, is it a cheating? No. But submitting the calculator output without understanding, that is actual cheating. So now in this slide, we will just clearly see the differentiate between the misuse and the responsible usage of AI. To maintain the integrity, it is very, very important to define no-go zones. Integrity is breached when you submit AI work as your own, or you simply copy-paste the output of AI in your manuscript. Most dangerously, using the AI to fabricate the data or fake citation is a fast track to the academic misconduct. And of course, failing to disclose the AI assistance that you have taken actually is a major ethical lapse. So now if we see at the flip side of it, responsible usage of AI is just about augmentation. You need to think AI as a concept tutor. You can summarize massive volume of text, but provided that you verify each and every output which is generated by AI. You can use AI to brainstorm the keyword and the research direction that you might have missed. So you need to treat the AI as a critical friend, which can be excellent in giving the feedback on your own writing clarity and grammar. So the key principle is very simple. AI is a research tool, just like your library database. Your internal contribution must remain central, verifiable, and honestly disclosed. So in the next slide, I'll just show you that we are not only navigating this alone. The global bodies like UNESCO and the OECD have already established the framework for trustworthy and accountable AI. There is a global ethics convergence which is happening these days. The consensus across all these international policies is very simple and clear. AI must remain transparent, accountable, and most importantly, human governed. Simply, we cannot blame any algorithm that it has given a wrong output. So, the responsibility for oversight lies entirely with the human researcher. So, now the question arises that how do we apply this in our daily life workflow when we are doing the research, right? So, I just wanted to show you a 5-pillar framework in the next slide. So, the first pointer is to declare, be transparent. You must disclose each and every AI tool that you have used, either in your methodology section or in the acknowledgements. The second is to verify. As we all know, there are more chances that AI is producing the output which is coming through the bias or hallucination. So now it becomes the researcher responsibility to verify each and every output which is generated by AI through the primary sources. The third pointer is to contribute. Your original thinking must lead the content direction. AI should follow your lead, not the other way around. And then document. Keep a research log. Now in future, if the reviewer may ask that how you reach to the conclusion, so you should be able to show the entire AI interaction history. And finally, the fifth step is to comply. Always align your work with your specific institution policies, because we all know that these days these policies are evolving very rapidly. So now in the next slide, I just wanted to share my own experience that how I have used the AI tools for doing the literature survey. So what I did initially, I have uploaded the 40 papers into the NotebookLM. Now, instead of asking a direct question that write a review or giving this prompt to write a review to the NotebookLM, I simply typed a question that what is the recurrent themes across these specific sources? Then the out
Mamta ma'am, are you there? All right, so I think Mamta ma'am will be joining us in a minute. But it's interesting to see that how, hours of time that was initially taken into the theming was very well, supported by AI usage, which is, 30 minutes of what, time is finally taken. Of course, one of the important things that we need to take care about is the reading and verification, which actually means that earlier also maybe 8 to 12 hours was going in reading and verifying all of these things. Even today, that time will remain the same because keeping the human in the loop becomes very crucial. The next one, of course, is, the entire writing, literature review, and the final draft should be 100% your researcher's work. And that is what, Mamta ma'am has been sharing. That's her experience of putting the things together. And then when she's able to finally submit, you see that there is a 0%, AI contribution. AI is just used as an assistant to support your work and not overtake your individual voices. So that is something which is very crucial and one must take care. And we have seen amazing examples of people, leveraging it for their grant proposals, for literature synthesis, for synthesizing a lot of complex policies and documents as well. AI is not here to replace the researchers, but the researchers who use AI responsibly are going to outpace those who don't. That is something very crucial. We have clearly seen, I think we have, gone past from the era of resistance to adoption and to thinking how, this can be helpful for us in our daily life, in our daily research, in our daily things. With that, very quickly, I would like to share with you, in conclusion, that what are the final best practices that you all have to take in mind when doing research with AI. This is actually, bases a lot of interaction that I had with faculties in the faculties from higher education institutes in the past 1 year. And there are ways that people have figured out that how do we work alongside with AI. One is prioritize your personalized writing. Like, of course, you should be the one who's writing the first draft of research papers. You can use Gemini for phrasing, structuring, toning, polishing, but that should be your original thought process. The next one, of course, is avoid submitting AI generated text. If you want to even do that, make sure that there are citations and then there are disclosure statements that you're mentioning. The next one, of course, is use NotebookLM to summarize literature. Like I said, when you're doing deep research, it's good because everything from the internet that exists through multiple Google search pages, all of that is churned into single click, which is good. But once you take that deep research into NotebookLM, you have to verify and make sure only the authenticated resources and the things that you feel are relevant are added to NotebookLM. From there onwards, ask your targeted questions, brainstorm with it, prepare the literature in a way that you would want it to be molded. The next one, of course, is incorporate human in the loop. AI is just an assistant, AI is just for brainstorming, but the final critical thinking and the analysis that a human has, AI cannot bring those things into picture. It can help you to bridge the gap, but your own critical thinking is very crucial here. Verify all the information. There's basically, when you go to gemini.google.com and when you do a normal search also, and less people are aware about it, with the three dots option, there is a double check feature also available. So that's also very crucial, to double check all the information that you have got. And other than that, there is also the citation features that we have seen in NotebookLM. Make sure that you're able to critically review that and add citations wherever possible. The next one, of course, is protect confidentiality. Now, that is very important. Use your official IDs only, your EDO accounts for logging into Gemini or NotebookLM. This ensures that there is an essential layer of privacy and security. All right, so happy to take question and answers if we have any. I'll quickly take a look at the chat window and request my colleagues to quickly share with us the questions. I'll come to the screen. All right. So right now we don't have any questions. It either means that you have understood everything, you're excited to try it all, or maybe you have not understood anything. So both the things are there, but the idea is please try out these things at your own. Think of a topic that you would want to do a research on. Maybe not directly you would want to think of it from publishing standpoint, but something that comes in your mind. If you're a student, if you're a teacher, anything that you would want to do a general research on, start with that option today. Simply go to gemini.com and notebooklm.com. Start typing about your research. Explore the interdisciplinaries or unexplored areas to that particular research. And lastly, I heard it from one of the professors. I was at IIM Ahmedabad, and one of the professors mentioned, Isha, this part where AI is actually supporting us as an assistant is really nice. But also the fact that now we are able to churn this information into bit-sized pieces and share it with our colleagues in the form of podcast, share it on our social media handles and LinkedIn is really a game changer, because otherwise most of our research would sit into with the publishers, and we would not be able to share it maximum with a lot of people on ground that we are in connect with. So that's a great way of also expressing yourself and sharing your work with others. All right, Mamta ma'am, you're here. Is there anything that you would want to share?
Yeah, exactly. I just wanted to state that we can use AI as a thinking partner, but not as a writer. So I do feel that AI is not going to replace the researcher, but however, the researcher who use AI responsibly will undoubtedly outpace those who don't.
Great. Thank you so
Thank
much.
you.
Thanks, ma'am, for that. And thanks for joining us today. It was great to hear insights from you. The framework that you've created is also completely in sync with something that, now that institutions are setting up the AI policies within their institution. Maybe they would want to consider adding those kind of, integrity framework into their policies as well, so that more and more people are doing research, sharing innovations, and also are able to share it with their peers for review. With that, we'll come to our last slide. I would want everyone to know that we have some amazing, sessions that are lined up for you. Our next session is on 12th of May, where we are talking about how you can, think from prepping to pedagogy and personalizing, mastering the personalizing with Gemini and NotebookLM. If you have not already signed up for this one, do definitely do that. The next session is on 16th of June, where we are talking about how you can build custom AI agents with Google Workspace Studio. Something new. Maybe not everyone has already tried that out. Again, another amazing session. You should definitely sign up for this if you haven't already, and continue to come and watch rewatch this particular video as well at your own pace, while you're trying some of these things on your own. With that, we would like to end this live webinar. Thank you so much, everyone, for devoting your precious time with all of us. Thank you. And finally, we'd love to hear your feedback. Please take a moment to click a picture of this, scan this code, and share your feedback with us. This will really help us, to plan how you would like next of our sessions to look like, and what is your feedback for the session for today. Well, we are well in time, but please do spend a minute of your time to scan this QR code and share the feedback.